On the 16th of June 1976, Sam and Zima's iconic photo of the dying 12-year-old Hector Peterson was shot by the police whilst attending a peaceful protest against the medium of teaching of Afrikaans in schools was shared with the world. On that day, South Africa honored the courage and the sacrifice of the Soweto uprising and the youth, and we celebrated all young people. 4 decades later, and more than 2 decades after democracy, what prospects does the youth of South Africa have? The end of apartheid should have been the birth of a new era for a generation that was born at its demise. Now, the born frees comprise of about one-fifth of our population. If the definition of youth is extended to include those between the age of 15 to 34, they make up for almost 55% of the population. Now, the hope was that this generation would be living radically different lives from the lives that the people who rose up in 1976 had lived. But the harsh reality is that dream is still out of reach for most South Africans. Stats South Africa reported that 2/3 of the country's young people live in poverty, and about 50% of our young people are without jobs. Our young people face problems like high unemployment and poor educational outcomes, various forms of poverty, and less than ideal mental and physical health because of our government. Now, the writing is on the wall. Despite the price that the youth of 1976 paid, our young people are still being marginalized. Those of the generation of 1976 who are in leadership positions, politics, or in government today, you failed this country. In 2022, there's absolutely nothing to celebrate about the government of 1970s, to celebrate about the generation of 1976, because some of them went into exile and they came back to destroy our country. It is a clear indication that they are not patriotic at all. The generation of 1976 has become the oppressor of today. We've been facing load shedding since 2007, and we have areas that doesn't even have water nor electricity. Young people are without jobs, and I re-emphasize this. And as a result of that, they engage in criminal activities or end up with drug abuse. I then ask the question, what did the generation of 1976 fight for? Absolutely nothing. On television and on social media, on the front pages of newspapers, the politicians were parading at Youth Day celebrations across the country. So who's fooling who? Enough is enough. We can't be celebrating mediocrity. Young people don't eat ideas from the past. All they want is opportunities to build a better lives for them and their families. In fact, the generation of 1976 benefited from the revolutionary character of the previous generations that had belief and trust in young people. Mr. President, Youth Day rallies and speeches don't put food on the table. And that is what you, the generation of 1976, don't understand, or you don't get that. We are tired of speeches and slogans. Young people want to see this country develop into something that that can take us forward in future. But no, your government is holding us back. The current old age home of ANC deployees lack the skills to take our country forward. We have a lot of graduates who are unemployed. Get them to run the government that you and your deployees so fail to do. As a young South African, it is sad to come to terms that the government of Nelson Mandela, Thabo Mbeki, Jacob of Nkandla, and Cyril PHALAposa failed our youth.